Hey, what's up everybody? It's Coach JV here, your top health and mindset coach here at the 3T Fitness Center and hanging out with my grapes and a gallon of water. I don't know what happened to my gallon of water, but I drank it all. Water is life and so is breath and so is food, which is fuel. Now today I'm going to break down how you can get your hands on some growth hormone. Now I got your attention? Let's go. Hey, welcome back. I'm glad you're interested in finding out how you can get your hands on some growth hormone, the #1 fat burning muscle building hormone. So I'm going to break down a quick video for you and share with you the secrets that I've learned after 21, almost 22 years in the fitness industry. I'm actually 86 years old, and I'm going to show you how I got access to growth hormone and why I look like I'm 42. Actually, I'm 42. I feel like I'm 21. I have way more energy than I should have, and I feel very grateful to have discovered the secret. That's what I'm here to do, is share it with you. So you want to know how you can get your hands on some growth hormone? Well, I wanted to know this for a long time. So I'm 42 years old. I have 3 kids. I'm married. Let's see what else. I run 2 companies, 3T Fitness, Age of Radio, production company. Very, very busy person, probably just like you. Now I want to make things simple. My goal is to make the complex simple so that people can make informed decisions so that you can better your health in your life. Now we know we're up against this huge monster, which is convenience. You got Uber Eats, you got fast food everywhere. So let me share with you some tips and tools to help you gain access to growth hormone, the #1 muscle building and fat burning hormone. Now let me back up a moment. I was a competitive bodybuilder for a long time. I used to eat meals frequently throughout the day. Now why did I do that? Because I was always told, and my belief system is that I used to explain this to people actually. I used to say, okay, your metabolism's like a fire. And what you want to do is, instead of, well, I would always say, this is what I say, let me walk you through it. Okay, let me back up. Okay, so back up. So better pretend you're the person. Okay, you're the person. Okay, let's do this. Hey, person, listen, your metabolism's like a fire. Imagine what happens if you throw a big log on that fire. What happens to it? They would always say, it smolders, just like your metabolism. See? What do you do with a fire if you throw candles on it? It burns. I had this belief system, and where did I learn the belief system? From people before me. So I had to ask myself throughout this journey that why did I have to go on a massive caloric restriction diet, do 2 hours of cardio a day, an hour of weight training to get lean for a bodybuilding show just to get fat right afterwards when I was still eating 6 to 8 meals a day. If I was eating 6 to 8 meals a day, putting the candles on the fire, then why did I have belly fat? And then why now at 42 years old, do I have abs all the time? I'm always showing my abs, really embarrassing. I got some little bit of my chest there. But anyways, the reason I show you that is not to brag. I'm 42 years old, and I'm eating grapes right now. But I'm gonna break down with you what I learned. That's the goal as we grow older, is to share wisdom and education and let you make an informed decision. Okay, so what I discovered at 35 years old was I tried to go back into bodybuilding, got my butt kicked, got last place in every single bodybuilding show. It was a higher power saying, hey, listen, wake up, do some research. So I started to look at the insulin. I started to look at why are people so overweight in the United States. There's a problem we have with insulin. That's why there's so many type 2 diabetics now. That's why childhood type 2 diabetes is rampant right now. Problem with excess carbohydrates and spiking our insulin. So I started with insulin and I reverse engineered it. I started to think about what does a diabetic take to regulate their insulin. Well, they take supplements or medication that actually helps their body grab the excess glucose and metabolize it so their blood sugar doesn't go high so they don't die. But where does that insulin go? And how do we lower that insulin? So I started with the nutrition, and then I started with patterns of eating. Then I went into workouts. Then I went into breathing techniques. And now you have what's called 3T Fitness, the Revolutionary Fitness Program. So this is all science-based. But let's talk specifically about how I discovered the fountain of youth through my eating patterns. All of you have access to growth hormone. And we were told by doctors and scientists that as we get older, our growth hormone goes away and it never comes back. That's not true. They are starting to find, and it's known, that you can bring your growth hormone back. How do you do that? By not eating? Yes, by not eating. Now, I'm not going to tell you to starve yourself, but I'm going to explain to you how this works. Intermittent fasting is periods of eating and not eating. Intermittent fasting allows you to tap into a very special hormone called growth hormone. Now, how does that happen? I want to break this down for you. Here's a nice grape, okay? I'll make the complex simple. This grape right here represents spiking insulin. So if I was to ingest this grape, And I'm not going to ingest it because I almost choked when I did a live on Facebook. You don't want to see me choke. Maybe some of you do, but you don't want to see me choke on camera. So this grape gets ingested, goes into my system. What happens to this grape? Goes into my system, goes into my stomach, and it starts to metabolize. My metabolism is going to convert this to glucose. Where does that go? It goes into my bloodstream. And then our little friend called insulin spikes, okay? Imagine insulin is a taxi, so it's an Uber driver. Let's use an Uber driver. Now it's the Uber driver. When insulin spikes, it has to grab onto the glucose in my bloodstream. When it grabs onto the glucose in my bloodstream, it has to go somewhere. So it's asking me, Coach JV, where should I go? Well, if I haven't worked out, I'm not properly eating, it's gonna have to make a decision for me. It's gonna check my liver, it's gonna check my muscle, then it's gonna go to the next storage tank, which is my fat cells, one of the most efficient storage tanks for glucose. That's what our fat cell is. So it has this revolving process over and over and over again, and as Americans, what we're doing is we're dumping so much food in our system all the time, eating small meals a day, frequently snacking, spiking our insulin, spiking our insulin, spiking our insulin, to the point where we end up having diabetes and needing to take medication or insulin to regulate it. Now, what you're doing every time you're spiking that insulin is you're lowering your number one fat burning and muscle building hormone, growth hormone. So how do you avoid that? There's a couple ways you can do it. Number one is having a great glycolytic depletion workout, glycogen depletion workout. Muscle building, weightlifting is amazing for that. But today we're going to talk about the pattern of eating and what it does. So what I started doing, the first thing I started doing was my pattern of eating. I started eating in an 8-hour feeding window and fasting for 16 hours. Now the human body goes into a fasted state around 12 hours. That's when the magic starts to happen. So imagine you're 12 hours fasted, you have nothing in your system, just some water, maybe some black coffee and some green tea. Your body at 12 hours is now fasted. Your body notices there's no insulin spike, there's no insulin present. So your body, growth hormone, starts to spike. And when that spikes, that's your number one muscle building and fat burning hormone. So after that 12th hour, the longer you go, the higher your growth hormone is going to continue to go to help repair your muscles. It's good for skin, it's good for hair, it's good for nails. A lot of great things have happened since I've been intermittent fasting. My skin is very smooth, my beard grows super fast, I got more wrinkles, my hair is growing long. But it's helped me tremendously, and I'm able to stay lean every single day, year round. I don't have to do a bodybuilding show because my growth hormone is high all the time. Another beautiful thing about this is if you're someone who likes carbohydrates, keto is an awesome nutrition plan. Sometimes I struggle to stay off of carbohydrates. I love carbs. So what happens is when my body is in a fasted state and I drop this grape into my system, yes, my insulin is going to spike. It has to grab the glucose. But since I'm so insulin resistant because I've worked out at 4 o'clock in the morning, I've been fasting for almost 6 to 8 hours, my body is going to take this grape right here and shuttle it into my muscle stores or my liver, which is my number one fat storage tank for glucose. So how do you get your hands on growth hormone? By creating a fasted state, by not constantly spiking your insulin, waking up and having breakfast, which is break fast, if you break the word apart. Breakfast should only be the first meal after you've been at a full fast. But what we do is we put fuel on top of fuel on top of fuel. So yes, if you're eating like that and you're constantly spiking your insulin, your growth hormone is going to continue to go down. And yes, you're going to continue to gain weight around your stomach. And yes, I see people at LA Fitness, all these gyms, Mountainside Fitness, have great arms, great shoulders, but a big belly. Why is that? Because their insulin is spiked super high and their growth hormone is super low. So you don't have to go to a doctor and get growth hormone shots. You can do it yourself by creating time-restricted windows of periods of eating and not eating. If you have any questions, visit me at www.3tfitness.com, my Facebook page at 3tfitness. Do me a favor, if this video did anything for you, hit the like button, share it, subscribe, comment, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you want to do. I'm going to continue to bring you videos and education to make the complex simple so you can make informed decisions. I appreciate you guys, I love you guys, but remember, I have the growth hormone, and so do you.